Boys and girls, we are so lucky today to have with us in the studio none other than one of the world's most famous composers of all time. All the way from Germany, put your hands together for Johann Sebastian Bach! Johann Sebastian Bach! So, Johann, can I just start by saying a huge thank you for coming and chatting to us today. I'm one of your biggest fans. Oh, thank you very much. And just like to say before we get started talking about your music, I noticed that you are wearing a rather dashing wig today. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Is it a gimmick? Is it part of your image? Is it the Bach image? Oh no, well, lots of men used to wear wigs when I was around. Lots of men used to wear wigs. And can you tell us when it was, Bach, that you were around? Well, I was born in 1685, which is over 400 years ago. Over 400 years ago, and we're still listening to Bach's music today. That shows you how good it is. And you did write quite a lot of music in your time, Bach, didn't you? I mean, was it 100 pieces, 110 pieces? Do you know how many pieces you wrote? Yes, I wrote round about 12,000 pieces of music when I was alive. 12,000 pieces of music. And with 20 children? 20 children, Bach. Yes, I had 20 children. Imagine having 19 brothers or sisters, boys and girls. So let's talk a little bit now. Whoops, careful. So let's talk a little bit more about your music. So can you tell us what you wrote music for? Yes, well, I was employed by the church. So lots of my music was written for the church, but not all of it. Fascinating. And what sort of instruments did you write music for, Bach? Well, I wrote lots of choral music, that means music for singers. I also was an organist myself, so I used to write lots of organ music. And the organ is the biggest instrument in existence. The organ has keys, just like a piano, and big tubes that the sound travels through. That means that you can play very, very low notes on an organ. And not only do you have to play it with your fingers, but it has pedals, doesn't it, Bach? Yes, it does, yes. So you play different notes with your feet. You have to play one tune with your hands and a different one with your feet. Must have been very clever, Bach. Oh well, I find it quite easy. Always modest Bach. Yes, we actually do have a little bit of organ music that Bach wrote. Let's see if we can have a listen to that now. A very famous piece of music. Very dramatic. It's called Toccata and Fugue. Low notes, can't you, on that organ? So what else did you write music for, Bach? Well, pianos had only just been invented at the time, so I used to write music for a different keyboard instrument called a harpsichord. And can you tell us, Johann, what the difference was between a piano and a harpsichord? Yes, well, on a piano, if you hold your finger down on the key, you can make a very long note. But you couldn't do that on a harpsichord. I see. So if you press your finger down on the piano, stand up, okay. If you press your finger down on the piano, you can make a long sound. You can go ba, and the note doesn't stop until you take your finger off. That doesn't happen on a harpsichord, does it, Bach? Oh no, it doesn't. No. You put your finger down on a harpsichord, and it doesn't matter how long you keep your finger down for, bong. The note is very, very short. So how did that change the music that you wrote, Bach? Well, it means that I tended to write very, very busy music because if you played very, very slow music on a harpsichord, you'd have lots of gaps. I see. And how else did you fill in the gaps when you were writing music for a harpsichord? Oh, we had our tricks. We used to do little ornaments and decorations in the music, and we used to do something called a trill. A trill. I can demonstrate a trill, boys and girls. This is an instrument that sounds a little bit like a harpsichord, and here is a trill. So by using 2 notes and playing them very quickly, I can make the sound last for a lot longer. Isn't that right, Bach? Yes, it is. So, you have been absolutely fascinating to speak to today, Johann. Thanks again for coming on the show. Before we go, can I just ask, is it true that you once walked 230 miles to go and see an organist in concert that you admired? Yes, that was true. 213 miles, boys and girls. What a guy. And when the concert was over, did you have a lie down before you set off home? No, I just walked straight back. Walked straight back, boys and girls. 213 miles. Put your hands together. It's been an absolute honour. Johann Sebastian Bach.